Hi, this is Travis Powell, and this is my EDL 856 case study entitled Parental Apathy, dealing with ISLIC Standard 4. Category 1, what do I know? First thing I know is Mrs. Rose is a new assistant principal and has just completed her master's in administration. Her last class was school community relations, so she was excited to use her new knowledge at her position. Number 2, John F. Kennedy School, or JFK, has had limited involvement with parents, and the principal, who at one time had high expectations for parental involvement, but now seems to be as apathetic as the parents. And number 3, a meeting with parents was scheduled and only 8 parents were present, and the principal wants to cancel for lack of non-representativeness. I have a hard time saying that word. B, what do I need to know? Number 1, how long had the current principal been at the school, and what were the efforts that he had tried in the past, other than PTA, PTO, what were some other things? Number 2, how exactly was the meeting invitation or announcement distributed to the students? Was this communication the only advertisement about the meeting? I know the students were told about it on Friday at the end of school. Was that in a note? Was that over the intercom? How was that done? And then number 3, what was the agenda for the meeting? We know that it was about parent involvement, but was there anything more specific than that regarding what was going to happen in that meeting? Identifying the problem. JFK School is suffering from lack of parent involvement. This could be attributed to a lack of parental interest or attributed to deficient efforts on the part of the principal to reach out to parents, or it could be both. And a meeting was planned for a Monday, but was only announced to the students on the Friday before at the end of school. Category 2, my proposed plan of action with strategies. First step in my plan of action is to have the meeting. We have to start somewhere, and if we disregard the attendance of these 8 parents, then we're likely to have less or zero support from parents if we attempt to have another meeting in the future. Second strategy I will implement is to use their ideas. Having the meeting, using their ideas will increase the likelihood that these 8 parents will come back, and hopefully increase the likelihood that they'll bring others with them when we have our next meeting. And the last strategy I will use is to plan another meeting with more advertisement. Announcing to the students at the end of the day on a Friday that there's a meeting on Monday that is not the best way to communicate with parents or to parents. If you make an announcement at the end of school on Friday, kids aren't thinking about Monday. They're thinking about Friday and what they're doing that night and over the weekend. So that's a very poor way to communicate to parents. The next meeting, we will want to use advertisement on local media. If it's available, radio and TV. Use the local newspaper, school website, school mailing, any other type of communication avenue that's available to the school we will use. Category 3, resolve the issue promoting success to all students. I will promote the success of all students by collaborating with families and community members, responding to diverse community needs and interests, and mobilizing community resources by first working together with families and community members. We've scheduled a meeting and 8 parents have showed up. Only 8 parents, but at least we have 8 that are expressing an interest or concern in getting involved in the school and giving their input. I will promote the success of all students by collaborating with families and community members, responding to diverse community needs and interests, and mobilizing community resources next by reacting to the ideas that the 8 parents bring forth. I cannot disregard what input they may have by canceling the meeting, because that will only discourage the parents from getting involved in the future. I also want to use the ideas that they bring to the meeting to make it worthwhile for them. I will promote the success of all students by collaborating with families and community members, responding to diverse community needs and interests, and mobilizing community resources by, lastly, continuing to schedule and advertise future meetings. This will allow me to use resources in the community by making contacts with media outlets, and this will bring in more community contacts. Category 4, this is debrief the problem by reflecting. What was I thinking? The first thing I was thinking was that the parents in my school community don't care about the school. And then the next thing I was thinking was I'm not sure how much my principal cares about the parents and their involvement in my school community. And the last thing I was thinking is if we cancel this meeting, we will only make things worse by not hearing the voices of the parents who did show up to give their help and to give their input. Debrief the problem by reflecting. What was I feeling? The first thing I was feeling was excitement at a new position and the opportunity to use my new knowledge from just taking school and community relations class. The next thing I was feeling was dismay because the principal did not help matters with his negative comments and his nonchalant attitude about the history of parent volunteerism. The last thing I was feeling was frustration because only 8 parents have shown up to the meeting, and also frustration because my principal wanted to cancel the meeting because of, there's that phrase again, his words, probable non-representativeness. Debrief the problem by reflecting. What was I valuing? The first thing I was valuing was the importance of my position and the importance of collaborating with families and making contacts with community members. The next thing I was valuing was my job. Even though I strongly disagreed with my principal's comments and his attitude toward the situation, I knew it was not the time to voice my concerns with how he was handling the situation. And the last thing I was valuing was the integrity of the parents who came to the meeting. Like I said, they're obviously interested in parental involvement, giving their input, or they would not have come to the meeting. And possible non-representativeness is better than zero representativeness. Category 4, unresolved or open for further investigation. Number 1, what issue in the past has made my principal so disinterested with having the community involved in the school? We have no successful partnerships with families, businesses, or community members. Number 2, why was this initial meeting so poorly advertised? As I said before, making an announcement on a Friday at the end of school about something that's going to happen Monday for parents, making that announcement to students is not a good way at all. We don't have an informed public, and media relations have not been developed or maintained. And number 3, why does my principal not trust parents and community members? That might go back to question number 1. No confidence has been shown to individuals and community groups. Plus, there is little to no visibility, no involvement or communication with the community. Category 5, reflecting on ISLIC Standard 4 and providing evidence. Component 1, collaboration with family and community members. I, as the building level administrator, collaborated with families and community members to contribute to school success by, number 1, believing that parents and families have the best interest of their children in mind and pursuing that belief. We have to believe that parents and community members want what's best for their kids, and we need to pursue that. We need to find out what that is, what they want. And number 2 is continuing on with the meeting. Even though there were only 8 parents, listening to their input and how they wanted to be involved with the school. Not canceling the meeting, not just taking their ideas and wadding them up and throwing away as everybody walks out. Component 2 for ISLIC Standard 4 is responding to diverse needs and interests. I, as a building level administrator, responded to diverse needs and interests of the community on an ongoing basis by, number 1, listening to individuals and groups whose values and opinions may conflict my own. I'm sure that there are some things those 8 parents had to say that I may not necessarily always agree with, and in future meetings, but I have to understand that if I want to get them involved. And number 2 is reaching out to the community with plans to have more meetings in the future. Component 3 of ISLIC Standard 4 is mobilize community resources. I, as the building level administrator, mobilize community resources to address, help, and solve problems in a way that supports the school by, number one, developing media relations to help get me information, to help me get information about future meetings out to the parents and community members. And number two, reaching out to parents and creating relations that can be extended into area businesses, religious groups, and community organizations. Parents have a lot of ties. You know, a lot of times the school, you just have the school and that's it. We all work together. But by reaching out with parents, you know, they have other avenues. It's like a web that you can extend out and cover your whole community. And that concludes my case study for EDL 856, Parent Apathy, dealing with the ISLIC standard number 4. Thank you.